in general, I tell people to never switch targets mid-fight. The reason for that is because once you've invested DPS and time into a target, to switch, you'd just be wasting that time. But there are some situations where you want to switch targets. You can see there's a Stork with me. I'm in a dual rep Myrmidon, so I've got 2 armor repairs. One of them's a AAR. I've got some auto cannons for extra DPS, but most of my DPS is my drones, Scram Web, Micro Warp Drive, and MJD. So the reason I ended up kind of falling out of love with the Myrmidon, it's an awesome ship. It's a lot of fun. I prefer the Brutics because people can't kill your drones. And also, Hicks are a real problem now. They're everywhere, and they turn off your MJD and your Scram. So you can see here the Stork is being a little bit too aggressive, right? So the Stork's being a little bit too aggressive. Whenever you see a small ship that's, obviously in a 1 versus 1 is going to be a, you see he jumps through when I aggro, and there's a Cinnable that shows up on scan. Whenever a smaller ship is more aggressive than it should be, it typically means that there's something you don't know about. There's more people around. There's a blob coming. There's something you don't know about that means you should be a little bit more careful. I felt relatively safe to aggress in that first case and to aggress the Cinnable. Had the Cinnable aggroed back at that close of a range, I probably could have killed him. But he was smart and he jumped through. That's his right move to make. So now I'm aggroed and I can't jump back through this gate. So I've just got to wait for my aggro. And I believe the Stork already jumped back through. I think that's Ashlyn. Or is that the name? I don't know. So basically I just want to sit on this gate, and right now I'm working on gate aggros to try to get the aggro on the gate right to give me an advantage. I don't need the advantage right now. Right now I can take both these targets, or I can tank both these targets fairly easily. So that's not such a big deal. You can see I've got drugs. I've got the new anti-pharma, whatever it is. And then I've also got the standard exile, which is stronger, but has side effects sometimes. So now the Stork comes, and he kind of backs off. So he's too far away for me to aggro there. A lot of times whenever I see people that are kind of trying to just keep me around but aren't really committing to a fight and just trying to keep me there, that means maybe that more's coming. And you can see I wrote lol there because the Cinnable cross-jumped right as I did. But what I'll do is I'll start to keep moving. Don't just sit still. Keep moving so it's a little bit harder for them so you can better see what they have. If you're moving, it's hard for them to hide what they have. So I'm going to do another video about that where you just basically, you turn back around and go the opposite direction and you can see the entire fleet that's chasing you. But you can see the Cinnable. I wanted to fight him. He goes out to a kite range. No way I'm catching a Cinnable and a Myrmidon. So I'm just going to reapproach the gate. He's aggroed, so this is an opportunity for me. I'm just going to jump back through. And if this works out the way I'm planning, that Stork's going to aggro me on the other side. This Cinnable cannot jump now for 60 seconds. So for the next 60 seconds, that Cinnable cannot jump through and join in the fight. That's what I call a gate isolation. He's isolated out of the fight for 60 seconds. This Stork here, if he aggroes, I've got a good chance. Now, what you need to know about the Stork and the other command destroyers is they are all very tanky for destroyers, even tankier than the tactical destroyers. They typically come with, I would say, over 20,000 hit points, if my memory is correct. But I'm going for him first. Even though this Faypole came in at last second, I was already kind of set on attacking that Stork. And what I want you to notice is the range, the distance between me and that Stork. I've got him scrammed and webbed, and he's moving away. So I already think maybe switch this Faypole because he'll go down faster. But once I notice that his range is going away, that's the reason you switch targets. He's steadily moving away from me. He's going to be out of scram web range and out of effective DPS range very quickly. What I don't notice is my drones are being shot. That's why I prefer the Brutics, I think. It's too much work to keep up with drones. And they're not as foolproof as a lot of people think. The tracking on the drones, you can see, is missing. So I switched this Faypole because I know I can kill this Faypole fast. He's right on top of me, which works for me, right? He's right on top of me. The Stork was moving away. That's when you switch. When you know that that target's going to be unkillable, but you have a killable target next to you. Another possibility is if there was something small and valuable next to me. Let's say there was a Carries that I could kill. Let's say there was a assault frigate, something like that. Something that's worth a lot. A saber. Sabers, I love killing sabers because they're worth a lot and they're not very tanky. They die fast. So I'm killing this Faypool here, and I'm tanking all of these guys with no trouble. Once this Faypool goes down, it's going to be absolutely easy because this Faypool was at least 50% of the DPS in that equation or close to it. Because the Cinnable's off at range, he's only going to be doing 300-ish DPS. I'm letting him kill my drones. That's a mistake on my part. I should have pulled my drones in. Right now I'm de-aggroing, and I'm also aligning off to MJD. Because I just want to escape. There's nothing here I can do. Both these targets are too far for me to do anything with. I'll go ahead and kill the pod. But I can't do anything with these targets. They can't do anything to me. So I'm just going to orbit the gate and either de-aggro or I'm going to warp off. And I see that their points drop, so I just warp. So my first plan was just to de-aggro and jump, and then maybe MJD. But as soon as I saw them drop points, I decided, all right, I'm just going to warp off. What they're doing is they're de-aggroing so they can jump with me because they don't have tackle on the other side. That's why they dropped their point. They thought I was going to jump. So in general, just always do the opposite of what the enemies are expecting you to do. Just like I was saying before, if they're chasing you and you're going one direction, turn around and go the other direction, just to mess with them. And it also causes confusion in their fleet, might give you an opportunity. In this case, they thought I was going to jump. I didn't. I warped up to a tactical instead and got a pretty nice kill.